Hi everybody, this is Mario Levesque from Mario Explore. This is our special for the holidays that we presented to you last week. And we wanted to do something special. We want to talk about who we are and also introduce you our team. Eric, which is with me today, will ask some question and we're going to try to demystify why are we doing this podcast. Eric, welcome.
Hi everybody, my name is Eric Saint-Pierre. I'm the producer of Mario Explore. We started this project a few months back, and we have a lot of fun. So far, 8 episodes has been released. Looking forward for all the new ones in the new year, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And we're gonna talk, like Mario just said, about his background, who he is personally, professionally, and the idea behind the creation of Mario Explore podcast. So enjoy.
I think Eric wanted to ask me.
Okay, so first question. Now it's your turn to answer the question. Can you tell us, Mario, what's your background? Where you're coming from? Personal background, professional background.
Yes.
Everything you can tell us, or you're allowed to tell us.
You'll see that I'm really a simple guy, though, but was born and raised in Gaspé, in a town called Carleton back then. Now it's Carleton-sur-Mer. For people to locate that, it's in the eastern part of Quebec. But it's also, I grew up in a place where everybody were poor. This is the poorest place in North America, except of the south tip of Newfoundland, the Gaspé Peninsula, with a well below average. But that's a place where everybody learned to develop different skill and a different trade, because we are all close to farm and farming equipment and fishery and all of that, forestry. Growing up, I grew up in a family where my father and my mother divorced when I was young, and until I was way into high school, we were the only family that the parents were divorced. So that put us a little bit of pressure growing up, that we were different than the other one. Not in a bad way, but in the way.
No, but back then, family were in.
Yeah,
They were together
it,
all through. Anyway, good times and bad times.
in the way that make me learn that we need in life not to judge people, and to go with the person, not to where they come from, or what they're doing.
Well, did the kids make fun of you because of that at school, or?
Yeah, not necessarily the kids that they're growing up, because teacher back then that was different than now, and came from a world where that was a little bit more tough. When I was in junior school, every boys were coming to school with their hunting knife, so it's something that you can't see here today. It would be considered as a weapon.
Why were they bringing knives to school? It's just like
Everybody
sort
was
of speak like an item just to bring.
Yeah, but back then, it's all the kids always had a knife on them, and we learned how to use that for different thing. If same thing, then when you go on in camping, you need that. But just to show that it was different, we come also from a time where bicycle had those metal pedal that were really, really hard on your
With
chin.
this really big spikes on.
Spikes, and helmet were not invented back then. Safety belt and car, I thought that was put there as a bottle opener. I never, all
They
the way.
came as an option back then.
Yeah, and really, really more freedom than what we have right now. We grew up in this area. Started to work really young. At 10, I used to bellboy for the hotel there, doing the luggage in the morning for $4 per days. After that, when I was 11, 12, 13, I used to work at the fish plant in the frozen section. Glazing fish for the people who know during during the summer. I was working
The
at
smell.
no, there's not really because the place where I was working was -40, so glazing fish, and I also did all kind of work working in the department store and construction and whatever job needed to be done, we were there to do it. So learn a lot of different skill, starting with
Hardworking kid.
yeah, but yeah, learn to work early and learn the value also of money really, really early. So because we were poor and we had to do it to bring milk to my sisters. I have two sisters and my mother back then, uh, and that brought me to even if I was doing all that, I was still a good athlete. Did a lot of track and field and football and all different. The only thing that I didn't really play was hockey because I was too poor to afford the equipment.
So you were going to school, working, and doing sports
Yeah,
at
doing
a young age,
sports
and
and yeah, and having a lot of time also back then to party and do all this stuff. Was really lucky that my kids didn't took the same path than I did.
and
You know,
that brought you to being an entrepreneur. And
yeah, but when I was 14, I already was tall like a grown up, 5'10", 180 pounds. So we were able to go to bar and started to do modeling to sell clothes. Back then, people can remember that in bar and different place like that.
well,
Uh,
basically they were doing fashion shows in bars.
yeah, so
Well, was it only in like tiny area like that, or Montreal and the big city were doing the same thing? I
yeah, they were
never heard
doing
that
that.
before.
They were doing that, but that was more in the mid '80s or early '80s, where different store were doing that to try to sell more clothes.
Because I just a quick thing. I remember they do it. They've done it at Sears or LeBay or
Same thing than that.
yeah,
Yeah,
same kind of. Just I just find it funny in bars. It's
yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's
odd crowd to I just want to get drunk, and who are those
yeah, it
kids
was different
modeling in
back
front of
then
us?
because back in the early '80s, bars were you had a lot of people going there, and it's different than what you have now.
Okay.
So majority of the people were going out on the Friday and Saturday night. But, and also, I developed my entrepreneurial skill at 14. Even if we were poor, I borrowed money to the Caisse des Jardins to buy 10 windsurf. And, people will remind when you come from the Gaspé that I was the guy who teach windsurfing and won bronze medal at the Quebec game, and but I was also in the heavy side when I was doing windsurfing and a specialist in the really high wind, and we had a lot of fun back then doing that. Uh, and went to college, and after that we went to move to Montreal with my actual wife. The wife that I have right now is the same one. Then she's my high school sweetheart. We've been together since 1986, and she was the perfect one because she put up with all the stuff that I did all around my life. We after in the '94 we got married. We moved to Florida. We stayed there a couple of years, and we decided to come back to Gaspé, where to found our family and where we came from, because it's really hard when you come from a region to just leave and leave that behind. Uh, Arrived to Gaspé and started to work, and truthfully, I work for myself for since I'm 25. So I did all kind of work like vacuum salesman and vacuum cleaner salesman. I did
Door to door.
yeah, welder, mechanic, roofing, a lot of stuff like that. And when we got back to Gaspé, I had a car accident which I broke my neck, and saw an opportunity there because they didn't have those collar to immobilize me. So I started Ortho ML, which is still there and sold a few years afterward to.
Does this still go under the name Ortho ML?
Yes, it's still the same, and it's been
Orthopedic and
yeah.
braces and well, yeah, braces.
Everything in the medical field, going from all the way from bed to wheelchair to all those things.
Straws.
Yeah,
And
so we developed that in the Gaspé and New Brunswick, and until all the way up to Nova Scotia. And also during the same time, I did some politics, federal politics, which was under Mr. Paul Martin. Present myself in the election of 2006 and run for the Liberals back then. This is one of the reasons why we decided to found the podcast. My political background in 2006, I was pretty much center because and center right, maybe a little bit because of the economic side. But when I run, and I'm the same guy than back then. And what happened in the last 20 year or 15 year, everybody moved left. So I don't recognize myself, and everybody moved left and accuse people like me to being right and far right, which is not the truth, of course. And you listen now to politicians, and you do understand the way that they're saying stuff. We're almost all the peoples are the enemy, and when you want to make a decision for your life, you need to have the right information. So I said, I didn't move, they all move. And now they carry false information a lot of the time to try to control what people are thinking and what the people will want to do politically. So this is
puppet and the puppet master.
yeah. So truthfully, this is the reason why we founded that. 2000 a few weeks ago, but 2006 at the same time also I became more and more interested in my old love stuff that I was doing when I was younger. Got back to actually it was in 2005. Got back to oil and gas pretty much in full time. When I was younger, I was doing that on and off to pay for my tuition and to get money. But if people remember, around the 2004 2005, company like Junex started to explore again in Quebec, and did really good and well for the development. And back then also Quebec government were inviting investors to come here. So lucky enough, with the work that I did, company like Talisman, Scott Vero, called me and asked me to do some seismic project. I did those projects for Talisman, and all the other company afterwards started to come with me to do their projects.
And so, you work as an independent, right?
Yeah, that was my own company. Called
subcontractor. And,
subcontractor doing work for all the oil and gas and bird dogging, those projects. So 2006, 7, 8, 9. Truthfully, I bird dog and did the permitting and did the seismic project for all the company in the lowland, which gave me really, really a good overview of what was going on here with the different company
and the possibilities that you could exploit
and work on the different well also with people from Quebec.
Or explore as Mario explores.
But back then that wasn't for that. But that led me to in 2000 and
And that's
six
when you met your
six
current partner,
yeah,
right?
then 2016, and this is how I met my actual partner through one of the company there who called me one day and say one of the investor want to develop Quebec, and my partner came here and we visited well, and we started to talk to each other. At one point, we said, why don't we start a company together? What we did, and we created Utica Resource with the goal to develop in Quebec, especially with the new regulation and the new law that was just implemented, 2016 new law, after a lot of study in Quebec. We were really certain that the government, after all those study and the way that they were talking to us, we would be able to develop. Uh, until 2022, 21, the prime minister, end of 21, prime minister announced that they're not going to want to develop anymore. In 2022, passed a bill to ban oil and gas from Quebec. One of the important thing in that, and we have a litige right now with the government, which is not relevant for the podcast. But what is relevant is the fact that people need to have the right information in front of them to make those decisions.
And by knowing that there's some resources that we should exploit and do something about it.
Large resource in Quebec. Quebec has the largest undeveloped field in presently in the world. We could have a major impact on with our partners across the ocean, we, and our ally. And But we'll see where it goes. And
And we'll leave it there for today. We already talked a little bit about
yeah,
those subjects in previous podcasts, and we will probably still talk about it.
yeah, but one of the important thing in that, it's we decided to create a podcast for the people to have the right information to be able to make the right decision into their life
Mm.
with the different field. So you saw us talking about where the oil and gas is coming from, and how its energy is created, and but we're gonna talk about all kind of different topics, and
Politics,
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
politics, energy, economy,
Mm.
the place that Quebec can have in the world right now, the place where we should be, also, and the fact that people need to get involved, because for too long now people give uh, their life into the hand of the government to be managed. And I believe that there's nobody better than yourself to manage your life. So one of the goal of this podcast,
Oh, like you said earlier, when we were young, we had the liberty of doing what we want when we want it. Now, according to our government, we have to do whatever they say, or we have to agree to it because we switch that mentality at some point in our lives in the society that it is what it is right now, which
yeah, and
we're not used to that,
yeah,
right?
and it shouldn't be. We should be able to decide for ourselves.
Our own
We're not
masters.
into a dictatorship, and this is important. People will also bring, and media will bring a lot of false information and disinformation, according the way that I see that,
All right.
hiding some fact, and if there's an important thing that people need to understand right now in politics.
And just to make clear, we're not bashing the media here, or the goal of the podcast is not to bash on them, but it's
Yeah,
true what Mario just said, that they're not telling the truth, basically, or all of it at least.
yeah, it's hiding information sometime, or not reporting some information. It's like lying to me. Uh, one of the thing, which is important right now, there's some fact that people need to get interested in. If you look at Bill 22, which is the expropriation bill right now, people people need to understand the importance of all those things in our life. Uh, Yeah, people will say, look, they ban oil and gas. That's a good thing. Why would it be a good thing when which is Bill 21? Why would it be a good thing until we use it? What's the energy of transition right
Mm.
now? How do you know all
Every
the
energy.
narrative that we have right now on the different topic? We need to be realistic, and the realist is not there anymore. And if you look at the last couple of podcasts that we had, a lot of those specialists are doctor in their field, but also really realistic in the way that it could be influence in the world right now in different energy like nuclear, like if you look at the lithium, if you look at all the different one that we're talking about, oil and gas, and we need to be realistic where we are going, and it's not just we're not living in La La Land. It's not a sci-fi movie. It's we need to develop different scenario to be able to reach the goal that everybody have.
On that matter, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
We know that the government in Quebec wants to switch everything, like gas is the devil, right? According to them. They want to switch everything to electricity
Yeah.
by 2035, I think, if I'm correct. And ban the selling of new cars and whatever and whatnot. And, combustion will be the baddest person on earth. Um, do you think it's realist to, there's a lot of renewable energy or other option. Does it make sense, speaking now today in 2023, that we make that transition in 13 years or so, um,
Okay. Let
to especially with the service that hydro brings, when there's a millimeter of icy snow, everything breaks down or goes to down the drain,
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
speak.
The question is really good because uh, you will have a rhetorical question and theological question that people can
Mm,
you can just believe that it could happen, or you can be scientific, which people present themselves and are not, and look at the hard facts.
mm,
How much energy do we use in Quebec right now? We're using about 45% of our energy is electricity. About 55% it's other source. You're going to have oil, gas, and coal, and different energy like that. So how much? Let's say that it's 50-50. So we would need to produce twice the amount of electricity that we have right now to
mm-hmm.
be able
To
to
sustain the population, yeah.
replace the energy used right now. That would be the fact if you could replace 100%, because there's some place where oil and gas you can't replace that. We're using the molecule also, not just to burn it, to create element, and this is one of the reason why it doesn't make sense to me to have banned oil and gas, because even if you are net zero, you're still going to use about 30% of oil and gas still into the big mix. So we're depriving ourselves of a good source of revenue on that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, to replace what we have right now with electricity, we would need to double the capacity. So there's 63 water dam in Quebec.
So
So
we'll have to build
we
more, right?
we would need to build 63 new
And more
one.
flooding area in the future, because when we move
Yeah,
the river
or
out of its
nuclear
path,
power plant,
yeah.
or whatever. But it's huge, huge, a lot of investment. We saw in the last couple of days that Hydro Quebec has a
But we
big
stuck.
plan to refurbish everything. $200 billion. That's gonna cost a lot of money to be able to achieve that. Doesn't I don't tell you that it's not achievable. What I'm telling you right now is gonna take more time to do it
Mm.
first, and that's gonna take a lot of money. And we need to be realistic of the capacity of Quebec to do it.
That said, we produce a large of amount of electricity as we speak, and we sell a lot of it. If we we still sell it outside the country, and we should keep more for us in that way because we stock in some energy which we don't use. So
Yeah.
to solve the problem, we should sell less or produce more, like you just said with dams. But
No, but the truth, the way it works,
we
it's
have to
because
balance it.
yeah, the way it works, it's because the energy that we sell, depending the time of the year, we are short only for a short period of time because we're not using the energy like we should do it.
Yeah, but with electric cars and everything, at some point,
With
I will need 100%. No.
no, because you could balance. Right now, even today, we could replace all the car in Quebec probably with what it's already there.
Mm.
But the problem that we have, we're living in the northern region where we need to heat our house. And uh, it's about one of the only place where you do that. But
Mm.
using electricity to eat, you lose a lot of energy. And the peak of electricity usage is when it's cold. So if we had other source of energy to heat our house, that would make more sense, and then we could replace uh, probably the whole electric vehicle field with the whole automobile field with electric cars. So, but it's really the way that we're doing the utilization of the whole thing.
Before we get back on the main topics, because we're doing a podcast right now of electricity and stuff, more of where the topics were at the beginning. Just quick question before we get back to it. Can you name one country? Because you just made a good point with the way and everything, it's all mixed together. But is there a country right now in the world that actually does that and are not as dependent as us that on the electricity consumption? And because we're using so much electricity now and we're going to use a lot more because we're stupid in a way that we think that's the only solution. Is there a country right now who's doing exactly what you just said that we could benefit from,
Yeah,
at least
a lot,
look at what they're doing and might
a lot of
maybe try to input that into our own system?
a lot of people compare us to this country actually, which is Norway, and you also have Sweden. But Norway, they have electric water dam like we have. They also are one of the largest producer of oil and gas in the world. They It's a small country, 6 million people, but they own about 1.5% of the whole wealth of the world. So they did really good with that. And their plan, it's you know Norway, they have high tax and high social service like we have. They compare a lot like Quebec, but they also manage their energy way different than what we are having here. It's a lot of people use natural gas to heat their home, and it's also the place in the world where you have the most electric car per person. So I think that they're doing the right thing for the transition right now. And as the Prime Minister of Norway said last January, they're gonna keep producing all the molecule until it's all drowned. Why? Because it's the most ethical one in the world. Exactly what we should be doing here. Because compared to other country, the way that Quebec and Canada is doing it, that's the best way to do.
So if there's any Swedes or Norwegians are listening right now, please reach our government and tell them what to do, please.
Eric, if you're an environmentalist right now today, and if you really care about the world,
I do care about the world.
but if the global warming concern you,
Hmm.
you should be on the top of Quebec government to force them to produce natural gas and sell it to either China or India, because those guys are going to use more coal and more coal.
I wish, but I will probably end up like a GFK or something because I will tell the truth and they won't like me. No, but just a joke about this. But seriously, yeah, yeah. But see, that brings that to, like you said, the power to the people, and we're the one who in the end are the bosses in a way. Just don't get me wrong here. We're not in charge of the country, but we have a huge impact with are saying, and we should outspoke our mind more often. If you ask me, that's just my
Yeah, and
opinion
you
here.
can't. You
I'm not telling you what to do, but we
no, but you
should.
can't. It's important because you can't imagine how much of an impact that a letter to your MPs, a letter to the minister, a letter could have. And
Look at the
if
teachers and the nurses right now in Quebec. I mean, enough is enough at some point, and they're doing the right thing, even though there's people paying for that in a way,
yeah,
the kids and everything. But I mean, that's the way to do it because they never listens to us. So
so this is the goal. When you have the right information afterward, you can go and ask your committant to to do something.
all right, so
Uh,
let's get back more to a joyful topic with the
it's
holiday special. Uh,
yeah, it's really joyful to me because right
just
now I'm bringing good information to people. So
so yeah, the
we
podcast
yeah, we developed the podcast for that after a couple of years of
MarioExplore.ca,
MarioExplore.ca after a couple of
social
years of
media,
trying
TikTok, Facebook.
to bring information to regular media, which you said earlier that we're not bashing, but I'm telling you the truth. We've been trying and trying and trying to reach through you guys through those guys, and it
Mm.
didn't work. And the reason, one of the
Now
main
you're speaking
reasons,
about the media, right?
yeah, I speak about the media. The one of the main reason why we created that is to be able to bring
Get a
true
voice out there.
truthful information to the general population, and when it's there, it's there. So, and I believe that people are smart enough to make the right decision.
Yeah, and the more you will share our channel or social media or go on the website, the more content we can have. That's the first thing for sure. Guesses, more guesses, and everything. We have only 8 episodes so far, but I mean, it's growing and growing, and it's because of people like you. And the more the words gets out, I mean, at some point, who knows?
One of my goals, though, that I would really like, it's people now that you know who we are, and we're not like mysterious people. Reach us, ask question, tell us what you would like to hear in those podcasts. Who would you like us to invite in the podcast, and we can talk about any kind of subject. If you like cooking stuff, we can do it. If you like forestry, if you like
Hey, let's
hunting,
get Martha Stewart next week.
yeah, whoever, because we're gonna try to bring them to you. Any information that you like, and
Yeah, it was created for politics, so social benefits and renewable energy and whatnot. But we want to talk about more subject, obviously, and it's just that we want to bring it in a way that people will understand.
yeah, we'll understand, and we'll also have factual information in front of them. So we're not there to make it prettier than it is, but we're there though to bring you the hard fight and
We
fact and the scientific one.
we just talk about who is it for, but why people should listen to Mario Explorer to compare to the thousand and thousand podcasts out there.
Why you should listen to us? It's you probably saw since the beginning. I don't try to taint or to bring you my own personal view or belief in those podcasts. I try to ask questions to people, specialists in their field, and to let them explain to you exactly what it is. I'm not, and I'm far
It's
from being,
more important what the guest has to say than what's your opinion.
yeah, and I'm far from being a journalist that can orientate the conversation. It's not my goal. I'm really curious. I like to learn. I like, and this is the way, sorry, that I ask the question. But to me, the guest is the most important person. It's not the host, and the message that we want, and the information is from this guest. The way that he will bring it, it's up to them. But this is the reason why you should listen, because we and I promise you that we're gonna try to bring you the maximum fact on everything, so you'll be able to make more enlightened decision in your life. Look, that I think that should conclude this episode, and I hope that you learned a little bit more about us. I hope that you enjoy what you saw. Please share, comment. There's not too many comment right now, but I would like to have those comment to be able to make it perfect at the end, and share with people, and especially go to our website and register to our letter. That you will receive the information on a weekly basis, because we're trying to release on a weekly basis new podcasts, and we're on all kind of different platforms, and Eric is doing a terrific job right now to bring all of that to you guys. The only thing that I do is to talk and sit in front of you, and having the easiest part.
Yeah, well,
So
the credit doesn't come all to me. Mario's doing a good job as a host as well, and we're finding really interesting guests. And Mario has we evolved since the first episode, and you can see the progress. And like you just said, subscribe, 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 like, and share as much as you can. So sharing, commenting, and liking, and yeah,
and
subscribe and
especially
send us money,
especially
please.
have fun during the holiday. Enjoy people, enjoy the time with your family and your loved one. It's
Yep.
really, really
Happy holidays
important.
to everyone,
Happy holidays to everyone, like Eric just said,
and
and
we'll see
we'll
you
see you early
January 3rd.
third.
We're getting back from vacation, so the episode will start rolling again. We're taking a 2 weeks sort of break. That's gonna be, yeah.
Hopefully, you like what you saw. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you guys.
Take care.